And hello, folks. You are listening to another episode of Car Musings. Yes, I'm your host, Matt Morgan, and thank you very much for tuning in today. Sorry if you had to adjust your volume there. Yes, it's your host, Matt Morgan, and welcome to another episode. Thanks for tuning in today. As always, how's your integrity today? How you doing? Keeping your integrity in check? Are you doing the right thing when no one else is watching? Hey, only you will know. That's up to you to keep an eye on. Before I get into it, hey, check out themadmorgan.com. A lot of information, a lot of resources, helpful for a lot of people. Check it out. Information on there that you might find useful. And also, of course, our links for podcasts, which I'm going to have to state now that I'm probably going to have to clean up because I've kind of been thinking about this recently. And I'm like, you know what? Some podcasts I never went the distance with. I kind of like just toyed with the idea, liked the title, had an idea, and it just fell to the wayside. So I never really took it off. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up the Mad Morgan website and remove a bunch of those, put them back into the wild, so to speak. Put them back out there for somebody else to use those names if they so wanted to. I think I'm kind of happy right now for you know, the current time to stick with car musings and not stretch myself out too thin because I have to focus on other areas like, I don't know, selling all my belongings while I look for a job, that kind of stuff. So, I don't have a lot of free time to mess around with any other projects that are going to consume me. So I'm probably just going to do that, probably the best thing to do. Anyways, enough about that. What are we talking about today? And I'm thinking, what I'm going to talk about today is let's talk about patterns. Let's talk about patterns. Um, I know you're like patterns. What are we talking? Floral patterns? We talking wallpaper? We talking tile? What are we talking patterns? No, we're just talking patterns. And let me explain this a little further to you. I'll get into this to make it. Hopefully, it makes sense as we go along. So, anyways, the thing about patterns is that there's a pattern to everything. There's a pattern to the universe. There's a pattern to this, a pattern to that. And I kind of stepped back, and I knew this for a while, but I haven't been paying attention. It's along the lines of this. And I'll give you a simple quote which you can understand and relate to and probably have heard before. And a lot of it will make sense when I explain further into the patterns. Now, you've heard something along the lines of if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got, right? It's actually, Steven Tyler said it best in one of his songs. So that's been something that in my life that I've come to realize that if you change the way you do things, the pattern of things, that, yeah, guess what? Things can change. But I think sometimes we overlook certain patterns. We overlook stuff that's right in our face, but we don't really recognize it as being something that is important. But if you keep things a certain way, whether it be even the simple things as placement of your magnets on your fridge. I'm not going into feng shui and stuff and all that stuff. Yeah, I know I mispronounced it on purpose, but anyways, I'm not going to go into all this stuff like that. But maybe there's some truth to that. But if you've tried everything else and are getting the same results, then obviously you've not moved enough chess pieces on the board. You have not deviated from the pattern enough to significantly make a difference in the overall scheme of things. All right? I know you're probably scratching your head right now going, what the hell are you talking about? All right. Sorry, I'm adjusting my hands here. Okay. What are you talking about? Well, I don't know. Considered The Matrix. Considered a lot of different movies. Considered a lot of different things. But overall, the universe is made of patterns, right? These patterns put in certain situations, in certain configurations, make certain happenings come about. But they happen in your life too, right? And one thing you got to realize is that that is a reality. If you do a certain set of something, certain things happen. You can think of it in very simplistic terms, but yeah, that's kind of what it is. If you do things a certain way, certain results happen. And this can be said in a lot of different areas of your life. But we don't think of it on the deep-rooted side of things, right? We just take it for, okay, well, this equals this, whatever. And people, because of this equals this equals this, people don't associate it with a pattern. They're just like, okay, I'm going to do this, and this is generally the result. Okay, fair enough. It's still a set of things put together that made a pattern that actually produced a result. Whether or not you choose to acknowledge it, whether or not you choose to actually see it as that, it technically is. It is a series of events, a series of happenings, a series of something that you're doing, which is kind of like the formula that's kind of making happen. I know. You're sitting there going, Matt Morgan, you're on track tonight. I know. It sounds weird, but I'll tell you why I bring this up. Because other than the fact that I can keep overlooking it, I change enough to make certain things happen, and then I'm happy with the outcome. So, don't mess with perfection. Don't mess with something's working. Just keep moving forward. Fair enough. You don't want to upset the pattern. You want to kind of keep the pattern the way it is when everything's happy. But when things go haywire, it's like, okay, there's got to be something that changed. There's got to be something out of the pattern that changed. There's something that went this way instead of that way, which upset the pattern of things. So what you got to do then is you got to actually figure out, how do you get the pattern back where it's supposed to be, or in a better alignment in order for things to happen. All right, let's simplify it and dumb it down for the not so connecting the dots people out there. So look around your environment, right? Look around. Let's start with home, right? Let's start with home. Now look around on every wall, picture, drawings, stacks of books, everything. Look at everything and ask yourself, okay, where's my life at? Do I like it where it's at? Okay, fair enough. If you don't like it where it's at, think about what was a certain way during the time that shit went a different direction that you didn't want it to. Because that might just be your answer. That might be something that you need to address. That might be something that you have to look at. So that's something that you should probably keep into consideration when you're thinking about the greater scheme of things, right? Like, it's an idea, it's a concept, but I'll tell you, I shifted a few things that were in a certain pattern when shit went south in my life. And I decided to actually do something about that because I kind of looked at that and went, yeah, that's a little off. I think I'm going to do something about that. So I basically upset that pattern. And lo and behold, interesting. Things changed. Things got better. Things kind of took a different turn. I say try it yourself. Look at patterns around your house. As I said, simple things. Pictures, stuff drawn on whiteboards, magnets on your fridge, layman of stuff that's been where it's been forever. Like, look at all that stuff and then say to yourself, okay, don't like, whether you like, if you like where you're at, then don't touch anything. But if you want to change it up, then yeah, do that. Just do that. Change it up. Stack the book somewhere else. Erase that whiteboard. Uh, Change the alignment of the pictures. Move some books around. Like, try all that stuff. And then go from there. And if things change in a direction that you're happy with, awesome. Then you've probably found the key in which you need to actually make things happen. And that's what you need to do. Check the patterns, change it up, go from there. It's very interesting. It sounds like so simple, right? You're like, oh, is there a book on this? Well, there actually is. But the question is that we overlook this stuff because we don't really sit there and look at, you know, this kind of stuff from an objective point of view very often, because it's like, it's just books. Oh, it's just this. It's just that. We discredit it. We overlook it. We basically just wipe it off as being something else, and don't really give it a second thought because we figure, why should we? Why should we give it a second thought? Maybe you should give it a second thought. Change it up. See what kind of results you get. If you get good results, great. If you get good results, great. If you get bad results, switch it back. Simple as that. And I'm honestly just going by, you know, what has been working for a while when it comes to well, the universe for that matter. So don't, I don't know, how can I explain this? You pretty much have to try it and see what kind of results you get, and then go from there. That's the best advice I can give you. That's the only advice I can give you at this point. Because until you actually can see a solid example of, oh, I changed the patterns and this happens, or anything along those lines, you're really not going to wrap your head around it. You're going to think it's nuts. I don't know. All I got to say is I've taken stock and evaluation of a lot of patterns lately, and I'm like, yeah, okay, we're going to stay on top of this because it's important. Make sure you keep your patterns in line, and then go from there. That's all I'm saying. So, other than that, life is good. It's just one struggle after another, but it is what it is. It's just one of those things that you have to keep on going through, and you have to keep trying to make things work. You know, we all have our struggles, and I understand that. I'll tell you one thing though, with my experiences over the last 2 years, I have a very long list of people that, frankly, I wouldn't piss on if they were on fire, and a very short list of people that I fully respect and trust, and have a level of you know, gratitude for. Um, you know, and that's a very, very short list, unfortunately, because, you know, it's sad when you see people's true colors. It really is. Like, especially when you see the true colors and they're not good colors. They're dark and they're miserable. Like, you don't want to see that in certain people, but, you know, look at the patterns. Again, look at the patterns. There's patterns there. You just have to make a point of seeing the patterns. Patterns in people's behavior, patterns in people's words. Patterns are all over the place. But if you set the patterns in the right momentum and the right, uh, give them the right momentum or in the right configuration, you can make things transpire that are beneficial. Also destructive, but beneficial. Okay? So it's food for thought. It's just something for you to think about. It's something maybe to research. It's something to basically, you know, dig in deeper to. Now, I want you to understand though, just like anything, if you start using it for the wrong reasons, your intent throws off the patterns. So you have to use it for the right reasons. Just saying. You can right wrongs if the intended target is already in the wrong, because then you're just righting it. So you're basically like a vigilante, you're getting justice. But besides that, the thing is that make sure you keep your intentions pure and true, and something with a sense of honor, because that's what's important. Because if you tarnish that at all, it's really not something that's going to serve you well. It's the way the universe works. You know, what can I say? It's the way the universe works. Everything catches up with you. That's why they say karma is a thing. It really is. And if it doesn't get you now, it'll get you later. So don't think you can outrun it. It's it's just the way it's going to be, and you'll either have to pay for it dearly later on, or deal with it in chunks moving forward. You know, in little pieces. And I frankly think the little pieces are not too bad to deal with. So it's just something you just have to figure out how to maneuver around a little more strategically, and then you go from there. So Don't stress yourself out too much on it. Just try to be a better person. Be a good person. It's the best thing you can do. Yeah, patterns are an interesting thing. I've seen a lot of patterns, disappointingly, and also good as well over the course of the struggle I've been going through the last 2 years. But you know what? Everything has to come full circle. So just keep that in mind, especially when you're dealing with patterns. Everything has to come full circle, and that's why patterns are important because you have to connect the dots. Otherwise, it just stays stale and stagnant, and it won't actually complete what it's supposed to do. So this is something for you to keep in mind. I hope it helps you out. I really do hope it helps you out. If you actually sit back and recognize some patterns, adjust things, and I want you to let me know. Send me a message, post, comment, something along those lines. Do all that stuff, but that's important so we can all learn from it to see what kind of success rates everybody's having, and hopefully we can get the whole planet back where it's supposed to be. Because in all honesty, I think the patterns universally have been off put in Earth right now. I mean, look at what's going on in the world. I think somebody screwed up some patterns, and it just messed stuff up. So if we all work together to actually figure out in our own little environments what's throwing off those patterns, put them back the way they should be, I think we'll be able to get back to where we're supposed to be. So I don't know. Look around your place. Look around your place. Switch things up, and don't do a lot at once. Just do little things. Like, okay, do this. Boom. To make a difference, give it about a week, even sometimes a couple days. Did it make a difference? No. Did it make a difference here? No. Did it make a difference here? No. Then try something else. Rinse, repeat. That's all you got to do. And hopefully you find the winning combination that helps you out. And I hope it does. I hope it does. I know for me, it's helping out. For me, it's helping out. I figured out the patterns. I figured out the Stargate sequence. I'm figuring out more friggin' patterns. And I know my buddy CC is going to get a kick out of that one. But yeah, I figured out more patterns to get to more destinations. The Asgards have taught me well. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this up at this point. I mean, I'm happy that things are moving in the right direction. It's going to be a killer year. It's going to be an awesome year. It's going to be just a boomer year. Not boomer as in baby boomer, but just boomer in the sense that it's going to be like, I'm so going to be getting back on top. And I can't wait because I'm going to surpass where I was and be even bigger than that. And then I'm going to freaking, oh my God. I'll share that with you as the journey continues. But oh, I got plans. Oh, I got plans. And I'll tell you, when I'm back on top again, baby, watch out. Watch out. I was talking to the wife about this today. I also mentioned it to my parents. I'm like, you know what? Yeah. When I get there, heads are going to roll. Just going to say, heads are going to roll. Anyways, thank you very much for tuning in. Love you for being here. Appreciate you. I'm going to sign off. Keep your stick on the ice. Keep your integrity in check. I'm your host, Mad Morgan, and you listen to another episode of Car Musings, and I will see you next episode. Take care till then. Bye for now.